me.
Everyone, welcome to Pardon Me, Alex. We're here in the home of Matt Rocco, with Matt Rocco, the guy, the man, the myth, the legend, and the guy behind the sign.
All right, you can drop it.
Gary Lee.
What up, Gary Lee?
Gary Lee. Oh my gosh. Oh man. So let me flip it over to the comment section. That way, in case anybody has any comments, we can answer those. But welcome, gentlemen, to our podcast.
Thank you. Excellent.
So welcome everyone. We got Matt Rocco and Gary Lee on behalf of the Sawmill 6th Man, and they're going to tell us a little bit about that today. So Matt, you want to start kind of tell us when you started the Sawmill 6th Man and kind of what your whole goal is behind that.
Okay, great. Well, thanks, ladies, for having us.
And we have Matt's dog Allie right
Allie's here.
Alex.
She's a big fan.
She is.
So I think, hopefully most people are aware of what's going on with the NCAA sports and the name, image, likeness, NIL legislation that has passed in the recent years, where players can now be compensated for their name, image, and likeness, when previously they had not been able to do that. So a college athlete, the reality is they're spending 6, 7, 8 hours a day in workouts and in the gym and training, in the getting worked on physically, practices games, watching film. So it's like a full-time job.
Right. It very much is, yeah.
Right. In addition, they have a full class load. So these student athletes have not been able to like other college students, go out and make extra income or make some income to help them support and do things like buy pizza on the weekend or whatever. But so now with name, image, and likeness, players, the guys and girls, student athletes go out and they can help companies promote themselves by using their name, image, or likeness. They can be compensated for appearances. They can be compensated for social media posts, for appearing in TV ads or commercials or billboards like we do. Right. So, there's a lot of misinformation out there about NIL, and there's a lot of athletes that are signing these ridiculous $1 million to $5 million deals.
Yeah.
Right? But that's not SFA. I mean, that's not what's going on here. We're just trying to raise some money to be able to give these guys and gals some spending money.
Well, spending money, yeah. And Matt and I talked about this, and I said I was going to totally geek out here about this because my thesis was kind of inspired by the Fab Five documentary, which was the early 90s. But anyway, so a lot of people just completely misunderstand NIL, and then they see people like Caitlin Clark who get $1 million deals. And that's great. That's not what's happening at SFA at all. But so in the past, NCAA wouldn't allow student athletes to get jobs. Not that they even had the time to get one.
Absolutely.
But so now with the NIL, like he said, name, image, likeness, they can use that to get compensated by other companies by either doing, kind of sponsored posts or ads or whatever. And it's great because, like if you watch the Fab Five documentary, you see a lot of these athletic departments, and maybe not as much at SFA, but certainly bigger schools, they're making money and benefiting the university off of their players' name, image, and likeness. So it's only fair to let them get some sort of compensation.
And even more recently, if you look at the Johnny Manziel documentary, that just came out on Netflix. He earned, he helped raise millions and millions of dollars for A&M, right? They built that whole stadium on his back, and he got nothing until he went out and made some bad decisions, right?
Right.
So that's what NIL does, is prevents those things from going on. But there's still some things because it's so new, there's things going on that I think the NCAA is going to get their arms around eventually.
Right.
I'm
A
sure.
lot of kinks to work out.
I
as we
agree.
figure it
Yeah,
out.
there's a lot of things that I think just because too it's making it so hard for schools like our size to really kind of compete with other schools.
can't,
Well,
right.
you can't. I mean,
Right.
I mean, you're getting millions of dollars as an NIL deal, and
Right.
you know it's just hard to keep up. And then of course you have players who, again, no fault to them. They're like, well, I want that.
Right.
Fine. And then but then we end up losing and having to really fight to keep these amazing players that we have because they get snatched up by the big Power Fives.
Well, that's
Correct.
the story about you tell about
Xavier?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so Xavier was, to your point, and we get a student athlete here for a year or two. They have a great season. All of a sudden, the big boys come knocking,
Of
right?
course, yes.
And University of Texas threw out a lot of money for Xavier to transfer his senior year.
Mm-hmm.
And Coach Colby went out and had they offered him $100,000 or something ridiculous in NIL. So Coach had to go out and try to. Xavier didn't want to leave; he wanted to stay.
Right.
Coach went out and raised some money. He didn't raise $100,000, but he raised enough money to show Xavier, hey,
Like, no, we want you.
we want you.
Right.
The community cares about you. Business owners are stepping up to the NIL for him.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I mean, that's the reality with the student athletes that typically are going to come to SFA. They have a couple good seasons. The coaches are going to have a hard time with the
Yeah.
portal
Mm-hmm.
and NIL.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So perfect segue to explain what all you do with Sawmill 6th Man for the SFA guys.
Okay. So Sawmill 6th Man started about a year ago. Actually, it's been about 1 year. Actually, right, Gary?
I think so.
Well, you're making.
It's pretty fast, maybe a month. I don't know. It's been pretty fast.
Yeah.
Maybe not to you, but I.
And so there's two things going on. Sawmill 6th Man was originally launched to support SFA men's basketball.
Right.
And because of the success we've had, and I'm going to talk about that in a little, we met with the athletic department and we're going to expand Sawmill to include all sports.
Mm-hmm.
We're actually working on
That's
that.
fantastic.
Yeah, and so I think within the next week, the website will be updated and you'll be able to, any donor, any sponsor, anybody that wants to support any sports program will be able to go to the Sawmill Collective website, select the program that they want to support and at what level they'd like to support.
Mm-hmm.
They can do monthly donations as little as $10 a month. They can do it one time, but there'll be various levels.
And it makes it possible for any fan
Right.
at any
Anything.
level.
Any budget.
Right.
So, and we'll share all the links to this in our description when we post all this stuff. But you can go in there. You can choose a one-time donation, whatever amount you want. You can do monthly, as low as $10, as much as whatever you have and want to give.
Whatever you have in your budget. Yeah, exactly.
So what we've done, and we looked at what was going on at Baylor University and kind of copied their model.
Okay.
So we, the volunteers of the Sawmill
Mm-hmm.
6th Man, and the guys that started it, it's all volunteers, a volunteer board. We've created relationships with some of the local nonprofits, the Boys and Girls Club, the Glory Gang, the United Way, the schools, and we found opportunities where these players can go out and participate in various activities that the nonprofits are having. They go, as an example, they go to the Boys and Girls Club this summer. During the summer program, they would go for 2 hours a day, different players, and mentor the kids. It wasn't just about teaching them basketball. It was talking to them about what it means to be a student athlete in college and the discipline and dedication, time management, things like that to these young kids. So they're looking at these big men, these basketball players, these athletes coming in and talking to them about life. You know, the fact that they're basketball players at SFA gets the kids' attention, right?
And then they can share their
And then they share it, right?
Yeah.
So we've had them at the Boys and Girls Club. We've had them go into the schools. We've had them work with the Glory Gang Kids, which is a non-denominational outreach here in Nacogdoches, a community-supported outreach into economically disadvantaged neighborhoods where we go in and we bust the kids in on Sundays and feed them and play games with them and then have a service. And so the guys have been participating in that. They've gone to the senior center, right? Senior center and serve
You
meals.
look at me when you.
Right.
Yeah. Well, you know,
That's my
Gary,
favorite lunch spot.
Gary Lee is former CEO of the Nacogdoches County United Way.
Yeah.
It was instrumental with all the relationships that he set up over the years and the people he knows, so we could then introduce
Right.
Sawmill 6th Man to all these organizations and look for opportunities to leverage the players.
Yeah.
Right,
So they can
and
make some money.
So great, and I'm glad you fully explained all that, because
Yeah.
I think it's great for people to understand and get rid of the misconception that we're just simply giving them
No,
money.
not
I mean,
that
yeah,
way.
I mean, they deserve a little bit of something since they're basically working full-time as an athlete.
Right.
But this is such a win-win that they're not just getting money, they're doing work for all these various, multiple nonprofits.
They're volunteering their time. Yeah.
My favorite story of this whole thing is the guys were at Boys and Girls Club, and I'm watching their text stream. I couldn't be there. And about 10, 11, I don't know. And one of the guys, I don't know who it was, came on and said, "Hey guys, this is not about the money that we possibly make. It's about these kids, because we all came from where these kids are." And I like that a lot.
That
means
just-
a lot to me.
Shows the emotional intelligence of this team and these players that they can make. Yeah, okay, of course you're getting compensated for going and doing this, but it's not just about the compensation. It's about
Right.
being a role model and a positive influence in kids' lives, because I'm sure they probably had someone come and be that positive influence to them, and that,
Or they might not.
or they might not have. Right? Exactly.
Right.
There's two different sides to that. So being a positive influence in someone's life, even if it's just for a moment, may change the trajectory of a young man or a young woman's life. And so that's really important. And I'm glad that y'all mentioned that, the fact that you're just not just cutting them a check every month.
Right.
They're out doing stuff.
Yeah, and it's enriching for them too. I mean, I can say that from when I taught
Yeah.
kindergarten Sunday school. That to me was more impactful than, anything else. Just that.
Exactly.
So the one
Yeah.
to go on what Gary Lee was sharing, the one player in particular, because what we would do is we would send 3 or 4 of them on different days,
Yeah.
so they all could participate, and the kids would get an opportunity to interact with different players.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the one guy in particular said he wanted to go. He goes, "I'm not scheduled, but I really want to go today. These kids are expecting to be there. I don't even care if I get paid. I don't even want to get paid. I'm just going to go." And that just kind of like was wow.
That's awesome.
And he said to me later, it was Matt Heyman, and he said, "Look,
Oh,
he's
so
like,
sweet.
I wish I had someone invest in me
when I
when I was that
Don't
age."
cry. Don't cry.
Yeah.
Got a bandana in here.
Yeah.
He always has his
We always have a purple bandana somewhere in here in person. Oh my goodness.
But that's just so, and we've got story after story
Of course.
of these guys,
Yeah.
and
And
and so it's been fun for us to sit back and watch
Yeah.
all this unfold.
yeah.
So in the last year, the Sawmill Collective has raised about $60,000 through donors, sponsors, funds, and memberships, and of that, 55 has gone back to the players. So we have a little bit of money in our fund balance, not much, and
Yeah.
we need to raise more, but
There's like,
So
yeah.
go and sign up.
More.
It's $10 a month. It's not a lot.
$10, right?
Yeah.
But this is not, nobody's making money on
I was
this.
gonna say, you guys are volunteers.
Right.
You're not making a paycheck from this money.
Not at all.
Yeah, exactly.
Everything's going, so there's collectives out there that are run by organizations that have learned to monetize.
Right.
So what they do is they'll go out and they'll arrange it all, and they'll take 50% of any of the money that comes in, right?
Mhm.
There's organizations that approach SFA like that wanted to set up a collective. And that's when we met with the athletic director, Ryan Ivey, a year ago and said, "Hey, we can let's not give up at 15%. We can get local business leaders come together and put this together, and let's see if we can do it without
Right.
forfeiting."
Yeah.
And even some of the boosters were like, "Well, for every $100 I give, 15 is going to go to that organization." They didn't want to.
Right.
They were questioning that. So what we've done
Which is
is
fair.
it's not.
Yeah.
It's-
And yeah, no, y'all done a great job so far. So tell the story you were telling me the other day about how one of the guys told y'all how grateful and impactful it was for them just to get that small amount
Right.
of money. Yeah.
So these guys aren't getting they're not signing $1 million deals. They're not even signing $1,000 deals. They're getting
Right.
$100 a month, right?
Right.
You know, they'll go like when now with the season going on, it's so hard for them to find a time,
Yeah.
right? So they you know, over the summer we were trying to give them as much opportunity, and they were making some decent money. But you know, if you look at it in the course of the year, they might average $200 or $300 a month,
Yeah.
which to them is like,
A lifesaver.
yeah,
Because, I mean, that could be the difference between, you know, groceries, you know,
or the
Right.
one what I was
gas
telling you
money,
about,
yeah.
the one of the players is like, I'm sending it to my mom. I'm trying to help her
Yeah.
out. You know,
Yeah.
every penny he gets is going to his mom. And then another player mentioned,
that's just selfless.
you know,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
And another guy was like, hey, my parents can't afford to come see me play. They're gonna be able to now get plane tickets. You know, it's not easy to get to Nacogdoches, right? And so anyway, so these kids it's not like they're taking this money and going out and buying cars or, you know, some of the things you see with these
Right, because first of all, the amounts are not even anywhere
that's
close to
right,
that.
right.
But also, what I've tried to explain to people who get the big misconception that they're just getting all this money and it's like blowing it on random stuff or whatever. We have to think, even me from a middle class perspective.
Right.
Okay, my parents had my college paid for, but if I wanted to live on my own and do all these other things, I had to, you know, they expected me to pay my
Work,
rent
right,
and
yeah,
work
yeah.
to make money to pay my rent, my bills, my gas, groceries, all that stuff.
Yeah.
But so that was fine. I was able to do that. But if you're a collegiate athlete and you're not allowed by the NCAA to have a job and you don't have the time to have a job, then even if your parents have the money to pay for stuff, or if you are a scholarship athlete and all that stuff's covered, well, then what if you want to go get a pizza? If you want to take a girl to the movie, or like you said, the kids who their parents live out of state and they want to come to a game, that's expensive. We know because we try to
Because we try to travel as much as we can. And, you know, we're balling on a budget, so
Right.
it's
So
difficult.
these,
It is difficult.
It is
these
difficult.
small amounts go a really long way to help
Yeah.
with stuff that is really impactful and important for them to have, you know, their family come or watch
Yeah.
something like that, and they don't have any other means to be able to make that income.
You know, and a couple things,
Mhm.
you know, there's at an SFA level, the misnomer that every student athlete's on a full scholarship isn't true. A lot
That's
of them,
not- yeah.
most of them, in fact, aren't even on a full scholarship.
Right.
So that's one thing. And a lot of the student athletes, not all of them, some come from middle class or middle, whatever. Most of them come here with not much other than their skills that got them
Mhm.
here, right?
Mhm.
So they're here for an education and they're using their God-given athletic abilities and the hard work and discipline that they put into that to get an education so that they can go on. Most of these student athletes that come here, they know they're not going to play professionally.
Yeah.
Very few.
Right.
They're here so that they can get that
Right,
education.
even
Yeah.
at the big level,
Right.
like at Texas, how many of those actually go
Actually get drafted and
And
play
make the money,
professionally.
right.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's a very small number.
to see
Yeah.
like in the last, I don't know how many years you've got from the men's basketball, Kevon Harris, Tom
Yeah.
Walkup,
Mhm.
Gaben's playing overseas. You got a
David's
handful.
David's playing overseas.
Well, not
Rocky.
anymore. David played 1 year and
Yeah.
you know, just, you know,
Yeah.
Roddy just
Roger
signed,
just signed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and not just trying to get so, but it's not a lot, you know, the
Right.
the
It's a
mass
small
Yeah.
percentage. Yeah.
and you know, look at all the great players we had in the last 20 years. Kevon Harris is the only one that's in the NBA, right?
Right.
Walkup's made a great career for himself
He has.
over in Greece.
He has. Yeah.
But I mean, for the most part, even
Right.
if they get to play a couple years
Mhm.
somewhere, it's not
That's
They
not
need
setting
that
them for
education.
life. Yeah.
Right.
They're gonna
Yeah.
have to find another career after that.
absolutely.
Completely.
So this gives them, you know, this little bit of money gives them opportunity to do things that they couldn't have done before, whether it's taking someone out on a date, buy
Right.
pizza, give money to
Their parent,
mom.
yeah.
Pay a bill back home.
That's right.
Absolutely. So boys, tell us a little bit more about the membership levels, what each membership level gets, you know, how do you become a member, those types of things.
Yeah. So, and this is all work in progress, right?
Of course, I mean, yeah, this is only been a year in, you're
Yeah.
still working through a
We're
lot
still
of stuff.
working through
Yeah,
it.
of course.
So there's several membership levels that have been established. $10 a month, 25 a month, 50 a month, and 100 a month, right? So, and then you can also go on and give one time, or you can go and give, once every 4 or 5 months. You don't have to you don't have to do the membership. But we've tried to make it easy. If you go on the website, Sawmill6man.com, there's a membership page and everything's listed right there. So, and under each level, it entails what you get. So,
Right, you could get this T-shirt. Sawmill 6th.
Beautiful.
next level up,
Get
that's
the
the polo.
polo.
Hey, and by the way, when you go on the website, it's Sawmill 6th, 6th.
Yeah.
If you don't do that, you're not going to get there. And
Right.
I've got calls on that. So
Yeah.
And
We'll search Sawmill 6 Man.
Yeah, and we have it on our actual Part Me Alex website. There's a little link at the top that says support the Jacks, and the first one on there is Sawmill 6th Man. So easy way to get to it from our site and also from each of their social media pages too. It's linked out, so you'll be able to find it.
And so in addition to being a part and feeling like you're part of the team, because
And
you
the
are,
support.
it's
Yeah.
support. And a little bit of you get a car sticker, T-shirt, polo. The next level gets an actual pullover, a quarter zip. But then also we try to communicate with the members by sending out regular newsletters. We try to do them monthly. Sometimes it's every other month, but just to show them how their money's being used, what the student athletes are doing in the community, and we provide pictures and updates. We also did one newsletter, which was an update on the incoming recruiting class. So we gave
Which I used very often during our podcast.
Yeah.
I pulled up your newsletter.
Is that right?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
And, unless you go on their website, and
Right.
you're not going to find that. So we try to make it
All in one spot.
right. Try to give our members and supporters something, above and beyond, and make it easy for them.
Of course.
Keep their pulse on the program. So, and all this is evolving. And again, remember, it's a bunch of volunteers.
It's just volunteers
Right.
just doing this because they love the team. They love the team's athletic department,
Right.
and they want to see these students succeed on and off the court
Absolutely.
and on and off the field.
So when the Sawmill Collective run by the athletic department comes up, correct me if I'm wrong.
Well, it's not run. It's still going to be run by us, but
Still run by
they're
us.
going to support it.
The point being
Yeah.
that when you tap basketball,
Right.
among all those hard sports, it goes to Sawmill 6th Man.
Correct.
Yeah.
And I envision each of the other sports in time will probably set up their own through the collective, like the Sawmill Collective is the legal entity.
Right.
Sawmill 6 Man is really a trade name underneath it, right?
Right.
Kind of under the umbrella.
Under the umbrella.
Right.
So each sport eventually, right now, if you click on, bowling team, your money will go right to the bowling team. They have not, mainly because we haven't rolled it out yet.
Haven't created it yet.
Right.
Yeah.
But eventually hopefully they'll have people that are passionate about each sport. Will have people passionate like we are
We can
about
step up and
basketball.
kind of help with it.
And we'll help them, but we don't want to be running for it. We can't.
You can't.
Yeah.
That's
You
what
can't.
we.
No.
That's what we say about our podcast.
Yeah.
People are like, well, why don't you
We
do
love
it about
to-
this? That?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We love to cover other sports when we can, when they have something big, but
Right.
if we were running around doing a podcast episode for every single sport event for every single team, we'd never sleep.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, we'd have to quit our day job.
Yeah.
Right, that's right.
That's not going to happen. Unless somebody wants to pay us.
And like, this podcast, we
Yeah.
get out of the
Kind of
enjoyment of our
love of our
hearts
heart.
that we love to play basketball.
And there's I know there's already alumni baseball players that are passionate and they're ready to get involved.
Right.
Women's basketball has a whole cast of people. So football.
Oh, of course.
You know,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
those people as hey, for the first year, we far exceed our expectations, and with the
Absolutely,
money
yeah.
raised and what we've been able to do, and so we're just kind of getting started.
Yeah. This is
So-
nowhere to go but up from here.
Yeah.
So each one will probably kind of roll out at a different time, depending on when people step up to help with that.
Right.
summer,
Or they
right?
may never. You don't know.
So,
I mean, but still, if they'll be able to donate to that program through the
Right.
website, they
So-
just may not ever have their own
Little group.
little, yeah.
Yeah, that are
Like we
out
said.
there hustling for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So kind of to give a little shout out while we're here, if people hear this and they know someone who's interested in helping with one of the other sports, would
Like
they
bowling
reach out
or
and
volleyball.
Contact y'all
Yep.
to start that ball rolling.
Okay.
Okay, So if y'all are listening, and you're complaining about
hold you
if you're
to the
complaining about any of the other sports not having this set up, this is the guy you need to call if you wanna engage and volunteer to help set that up for one of the other sports.
And they only charge $500.
That's actually not bad with the
I'm gonna go a little higher.
But that money will go to the sick man. Okay, just kidding.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, no, so yeah, the different levels, you can obviously go sign up on the Sawmill 6th fan website. You have a director group, which you both are directors, right? Okay.
Yes.
How many people are directors and how many are there?
There's Gary Lee, Scott Boyer, Gary Miller, Kevin Clayton, Andy Teal, Cam Story, and myself. So there's seven. No, Dylan and Nick are volunteers.
They're just
They're bored wannabes, but they're like, what are we on this podcast?
I'll give some information.
Oh,
back
goodness.
Yeah.
Let's see. We have a comment. It's Erica. She said, "Gary Lee, give me a shout."
Hi.
Hi, Erica.
I love you.
I'm thinking she's wanting to give a shout about setting one up for volleyball.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's probably your gal for volleyball.
Hey, and you know what, Erica, you could probably also recruit Tony McGowan to help you with the volleyball because
He's
he's a
there.
big volleyball
He's
fan. He gave them a good shout out during our alumni board meeting the other day.
Not recruit me. We went to a volleyball game. It was really fun. I enjoyed it.
Volleyball games are fantastic. Absolutely. And they're doing
Yeah.
They're doing
I've been invited. I just, I
Gotta make it
make
happen.
it happen.
Yeah.
Oh wait, she's commenting more. Hold on, what's this say? He said, "Yes, ma'am," on it, Jacqueline Noel Parton.
Yeah. See, I'm thinking ahead. I've already got a list in my mind now of people we can talk to.
As soon as Tony said it,
Yep.
Yeah.
as soon as he said it yesterday or on Friday, Jacqueline had
I
it.
don't know because
Yeah.
I see him at every volleyball game I go to.
Absolutely.
Okay, so why don't you tell us something about your event that y'all are gonna have next Sunday?
Yes.
Week from today.
Yep. So we're trying to get some momentum to kick off the year, and also give fans an opportunity to meet the players before we meet the Lumberjacks. But
Right.
I mean, so anyway, we're having
It's a different environment that we
Different
could
envi-
have,
right,
you know, like
right.
it's
This
very
could be
formal.
fun.
Yeah, this is more like
It's gonna be a party.
party.
And
Yeah.
we'll have anyway. It's at Barkeep's Eatery here in Nacogdoches on North Street. It's at 7 p.m. next Sunday, the 29th. It's $50, and that includes buffet, open bar, which will have celebrity bartenders, being Coach Keller and the staff.
Okay.
And then
Sounding better and better.
Yeah, and then there'll be some auction items. There'll be all kinds of SFA men's basketball, signed balls, shirts. Kevon Harris is donating to
All right.
Magic shirts that
Okay.
he's going to customize
Nice.
and sign once the auction's over and
Okay.
see who won them.
Yeah.
So it'll be all kind. We got local businesses donating, car washes and oil changes and restaurant tickets.
Wow.
E-Tech's donated, I think, a iPad and some other stuff, and Boys and Girls Clubs donating things just because they benefited from.
Yeah.
So I
Absolutely.
think
Yeah.
they're doing a birthday party at the pool, the
Okay.
Landon Pool Center. Is
Yeah.
one of the- So anyway, so it's a fun night. 7 o'clock. It'll be done by 9-ish. You come, you eat, you have a couple drinks. You hear from Coach Keller. The players will come up and introduce themselves. We'll give a real quick update on Sawmill and everything that's going on, kind of like we've done today. But
Of
we'll
course.
have,
Yeah.
we'll have a little presentation. We'll be able to show some of the pictures of the guys out in the community, and $50. So you can go
Yeah.
and register. We've created an event, Bright. Is that what it is?
Yeah,
Eventbrite.
Which I think you're going to put on.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we
Again,
linked it.
yeah.
Yeah, we
Share all
linked
these
it in the chat over here. If you're listening, I think Nick commented. Your son
He said,
commented.
"Wannabe board members?" ? Thanks. I think
What?
you're gonna be in trouble.
You're in trouble
with
for that.
Nick.
Your son
He
commented.
said, "Wannabe board members?" ?
Oh.
Thanks.
You're welcome, Nick.
We're already in the doghouse for not inviting him on the phone.
We'll get you on another episode, Nick. I promise.
He's
We'll be
Oh,
happy to
man.
have you on. But
He's a professional wedding goer. I mean, every
Yeah.
weekend he's at a
That's what I'm saying. You're not here. You
Yeah.
couldn't be here. We
Yeah.
wanted to do it in person with these two. Look at Gary Lee taking pictures.
well, yeah, we have to
He's
do it.
doing
But
things.
yeah, so definitely everyone's still going to meet the Jacks, but
Oh,
like
yeah,
Matt,
absolutely.
but like Matt said, this this
a little different.
event will be a little more laid back. You can really mingle more with the guys and the players and get to know them. You can ask about 6th Man if you have more questions that we haven't covered today. And just like I said, really getting to mingle with the guys and getting to know them will really make it more impactful for you to see what your contributions would go to help. Because we were talking before we actually started this episode, but we have such a great group of guys.
They are wonderful.
They're so sweet. They're so genuine. They're great guys, and like the stories they've shared, they really have their heart into all of this stuff that they're doing. And it's even though the money is very, very helpful, like all the reasons that we've named, even just as much as getting their parents to get to come watch them play,
which is huge for some of them.
To them,
For
it's
sure.
it's paying dividends to get to work with these kids and do these things that, you know, either maybe they had when they were a kid and it meant a lot to them, or they didn't and they wish they had it. So just getting to know them, you'll really get to see what your contribution would.
And you know, this also allows, because this is the other thing, we don't just send these young men and women out. I mean, we spend time with them and we set expectations and we tell them, look, the priorities are your faith in your family, academics, your team, and then NIL. And so don't, you know, if you're not going to prioritize things and you're going to miss classes, or I don't think they miss a practice, but you're going to miss,
Oh, God.
you know,
Probably
but you're going to miss a class. Guess what? You're not going to be part of the NIL program. So we try to, and we talk to them about their brand and how important it is that they've got to be careful what they're posting on social media, because it's them and they're representing not only themselves, SFA, Sawmill, the business like E-Tech. We do a lot with them, and so we talk to them about their presence and their brand, which is going to carry with them long after their playing days are over.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Your personal brand is everything.
Right.
I mean, it's your credibility.
And it's such a new thing recently in the last couple of years that especially the guys this age, they aren't thinking that far ahead.
Right.
No.
Most of them,
No.
anyway.
So getting this good foundation now will help them into their future,
Absolutely.
even if basketball isn't related
Right.
in any sort
I
of
mean,
way
look,
to
look
it.
at now. Look at all the retired ex-athletes out there doing things. Some of them have a very good brand.
Absolutely.
And some don't.
Some
right? And you know, like, you know,
Yeah.
Somebody brought that up because
I was going to say. I don't want to get you guys in trouble.
No. But no, I'm glad you touched on that too, because I do think it's important for everyone to know how much of a core support system that y'all are setting up for these guys, just through all the things that Gary Lee lines up with all the nonprofits. They're interacting with a lot of people who are helping with communities in all different ways. So I can guarantee for each guy, there's at least one of those nonprofits that mission really touches their heart.
Absolutely.
Something
Resonates with
different.
it. Absolutely.
And that's really impactful, growthful things for them to do. And then can you tell them about, because I know you have a lot of things just like here at the house where you have the guys for dinner and talk to them about the kind of stuff you were mentioning.
Right.
So tell us about some of that, like how often you have them here. And
Yeah, we bring them out. This summer we were having about once a month because they weren't so busy and they were actually little things to do. They come over, go swimming, whatever. But there's other people in the community that are having it over at their houses as well. So we do that. But then, me as a business owner, E-Tech, we've been in the NIL as well now for the last couple of years, and we do football, ladies basketball. We've done some track and field athletes, and we do men's basketball. And we take it a little bit further because we bring them in to E-Tech. We introduce them to the company. We sit down. We have them sign a contract over what the expectations are. And same thing, we set the priorities. But we teach them again. It's more just about additional skills, and they learn about marketing E-Tech. Now we're out there marketing our company as a large employer in East Texas. We're not necessarily having them sell a product for us, but they're, we're using it a different way. So that all goes into that. But I will tell you one other thing we started to touch on. We all remember when the Sawmill was packed, right?
Of course.
Before COVID.
Yeah.
And what I believe is these guys, the more in the community they are, the more they get to know people and people get to know them,
More people are gonna
I
come to the
think
game.
that's gonna drive attendance.
I agree, because they'll have a more
Now,
personal
so they know,
connection.
right,
Yeah,
Yeah.
like that's the kid that came and worked an hour at the house or something
Right,
because
right,
they were
at the church.
Or the kids are gonna
The
go
kids
home.
are-
and
we're
say,
already
"We
there.
really wanna watch that."
Yeah,
They're
exactly.
asking,
Hold on.
they're asking for tickets. the
Right.
kids.
Well, first of all, we had Dylan say shaking my head, but okay.
Okay, Dylan.
And sorry, Dill. Next question, Erica. So many questions. How big is the art of the possible here? Does it have to be sports specific, or can my monthly student athlete dinner crew, team Toller, Raise the Axe group be one of the subgroups under the collective? I may be in the works of a few things and want to align synergies, if that makes sense. Gary Lee, time to actionably follow up on all of our flapjack convo from yesterday. Thanks for all you're doing. So, I mean, that's something to consider. I mean, she already has a dinner group that she has
Right.
with student athletes. I mean, could that be part of the collective? And the next one is, it's just a typo fix. So, yeah. So these are things that.
We'll talk.
Yeah, absolutely. So
We'll figure it out.
yeah, that was a good segue in from Erica, because I kind of wanted to recap and say, so just as a reminder, overall, everything that we've discussed is people to give donations to the Sawmill 6th Man, which is basically an NIL collective just for SFA men's basketball. Then in turn, Gary Lee fixes these guys up with various nonprofits for them to go volunteer and work, and that is their exchange for the money they're getting from the collective. So that right there is a win-win, because they're going out and doing stuff in the community for these nonprofits that maybe don't have money to pay for all of that stuff to be done. However, like Matt said, for E-Tech, he'll have a couple of different athletes from different sports sign NIL deals with him to do various ads or things.
Social media.
So
posts,
So any businesses out there listening, if you have a student athlete from any sport who maybe frequents your restaurant or comes in wherever that you have a relationship with, you can on your own reach out to them and work out a little NIL deal for them to make social media posts for you or sponsored, whatever.
The possibilities are
endless.
Yeah. They just have to go through the correct channels and make sure that all the paperwork is signed and that.
So an SFA has made it really easy. They have a platform called Influencer, and I can share a link.
We can share a link, absolutely.
Yeah. So you go on there as a business. This is only for business owners,
not individual.
So business, you go on, you set your profile, and all the student athletes have a profile
on there.
Right. Where they're from, what sport, their Instagram page, Facebook, how many followers they have. And so then you can go in and engage directly with the students, set the contract right online, and the expectations. And then when you pay them through Influencer, and they compliance and SFA audits everything, make sure this isn't a pay for play, make sure there's actually some kind of exchange.
Yeah.
And then they track the taxes, and it makes it really convenient. So what we did as a business, we took 10% of our marketing budget, which we were spending already, and we took that money and we said, okay, let's test it with the student athletes through the NIL program, and we're seeing a much better return on those dollars than traditional. I hate to say it, but than traditional advertising. And you know what? Someone said, "Well, what are you paying them?" Well, it's whatever. This is where things get crazy, So maybe like at Texas, the one quarterback, we won't mention names, like he'll get $1 million a month for doing 2 social media posts, right?
Right.
Well, we're paying like $25 or $50 for social media. You pay whatever you think it's worth, right? But a lot of these student athletes, they might not have, 500,000 followers, but they've got 7,000, 8,000. And for us, a lot of them are their fellow students. So for me, that's who we're trying to. That's your
target demographic.
Right. Yeah. And their parents, their families, so they're coming in for games, and if they're promoting, a business, so there's several restaurants. There's a tanning studio in town that works with the women's soccer team, and basically what they do is they give them a free membership, and in exchange, they have to post about the tanning I guess.
Services.
Yes,
Whatever.
yeah.
Whatever's available.
Right.
Yeah.
So that doesn't, what does that cost Tanny? Nothing. I mean, they're just
Yeah, exactly.
they're fortunate, but it doesn't cost them anything,
Mhm.
and they get that exposure from those student athletes, right?
Yeah.
So you seem like we've got a billboard with SFA basketball players,
Right.
but you see billboards all over the place with student athletes.
Right.
Mhm.
And for restaurants especially, I can
Right.
think probably if you just gave them however many free meals
Right,
a week and
right.
made them post
Oh, they'll be
each other,
happy to do that.
they'd
Yeah.
be so happy to have that. It's
Yeah.
not gonna cost you that much, and then you get more, exposure.
Absolutely.
And our local car dealers, if anyone wanted to give them a car,
Right.
I'm sure
They'd
they
be
would.
really
I'd be
happy.
real excited to post for you then.
I mean, that's what's going on out there.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Absolutely.
But yeah, just want to make sure and explain that on a smaller scale with a college like SFA, there's still plenty of opportunities for businesses to, and like you said, it can be whatever dollar amount you think is fair. And
Right.
You can track the engagement and success of those ads, and if you feel like it's worth more,
Because
then
a lot of businesses, are smaller, locally owned family
Right.
businesses. They don't have a huge marketing budget, but
Sure.
if they can, like you said, work out to whatever they think it's worth, it's not like, they may think, well, I can't do all this NIL stuff or because I just don't have the budget for it. Well, I mean, you can make it work.
You can make it work.
You can make it work.
And,
Yeah.
and, the student athletes will reach a different market than an ad in the
Mhm.
local newspaper, than a radio ad, even a billboard.
Right,
They're
right.
reaching a totally different market. So as a local business, I would find that appealing. It's worked for us.
totally.
Yeah.
It's so beneficial to both parties because, like I said earlier, with the nonprofit work that the guys are doing, that's such a win-win because those nonprofits can't afford to pay those positions.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
they're getting work for
Right.
things. Then the guys are getting a little money that they can send back to their parents or use
However,
as a travel
way
or
they
whatever.
Yeah.
So on
And
a
those nonprofits do social media, so.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
And they're
Yeah, they-
touching
they
community members who may want to come watch their
Yeah.
player on the Jacks play.
Yeah.
And so on a larger scale, it's so impactful to all of the businesses in town as well as the athletics department and the fan base, because if you know that schools like UT can pay all these kids $1 million for something and you think, well, we can't even compete in that. Well, right, we can't do $1 million, but you could do a little bit. And so if you start doing these things, because it's at a point now where if we're not doing any NIL stuff with any of our players, the possible recruits are going to start drying up and kids aren't going to want to come here because they're going to be able to go somewhere else and get something no matter how small it is.
Yeah.
And so if we can just try to if we can figure out some way to give them some little enticement of, retribution for all the hours and time they're putting in, that will also help our community. It helps them. It helps our fan base have good players to watch.
Right.
The benefits are,
And this is just where the world is nowadays.
Right.
I mean, if 20 years ago, this wasn't even a thing,
No.
And so
I
it's like, that's what I'm saying.
mean, it was
like
a thing, but it was
a thing.
Right.
under the table thing.
Well, that's
It was-
exactly.
Yeah, at least it's now, it's above board. Everybody knows what's going on.
Well, yeah. And I was saying I lost my train of thought. It will come back to me. but-
It'll come back.
Above board,
Something you were saying. it
Let's
was-
see.
I was
She
thinking
said,
of-
love what Sawmill 6th is doing. Meant to say that these student athletes are hungry, all caps, to engage with the new NIL opportunities. I'm exploring options with my company, Forward Air,
Yep.
partnering up as we grow and expand in Texas and out west of the Mississippi. Appreciate y'all kicking this off and paving the path forward for our student athletes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So,
Thank you, Eric.
and I will tell you that comment's powerful because it's going to take all of us.
It is.
It's going to take the community.
No matter
And
how
and-
small or
and-
big the contribution.
That's right.
Yeah.
And the collective alone isn't going to, we're going to need local
Right.
businesses
Yes.
to start supporting these kids through the
Their own
marketing.
NIL.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yep.
But every school in the WAC has an NIL collective, every one of them. We were probably the last one.
I'm
to
sure
get
I was going to say
it.
we're kind of the last one.
And we're just now getting an all sports one, so
Right,
we had the men's basketball and it was great. And we we learned because we were
And
like,
that's great that you started with one
Right.
sport that you were already very involved with. So you
Right.
kind of learned the ropes, and
Yep.
now we can
Right.
expand the model. And
and years ago there was an organization called the Tipping Club. They used that sport
Yes, I
men's
remember.
basketball, right? And you know, I don't, for whatever reason, the tipping club is no longer active, but it's the same thing, you know. The tipping club, the money wasn't going right to the student athletes; it was going to the program.
The program. Yeah.
But you know, you could give $10 a month, you could give $100, you know, the same thing. So we're not looking necessarily. I mean, if a big donor wants to come and drop a bunch of money, great.
Right.
But this is an opportunity for everybody. Huh?
He said,
Please, yeah.
well, and that's such a good kind of point to make, is because I'm sure there's a lot of people who are thinking, well, I already give to the
Right.
Purple Lights
Purple
Fund.
Lights, or the SFA
Why do I
Foundation, yeah.
why do I need to give also to the collective? Well, because it goes to two different buckets.
Right.
You know, anyone who donates to the Purple Lights Fund, that goes to like operations,
Right.
and
The
like
program.
the program
Right.
itself.
And you need
know.
that.
You
Yeah.
still need that. That goes to, you know, uniforms and travel and this and that. Like
Everything.
actually for the program, this is for the athletes themselves, like
Right to the athlete.
right to the athletes. So this is a completely different bucket. So keep that in mind, because
We don't want to have someone take away from Purple Lights to give
Right,
them the song.
right,
No.
right.
Yeah.
you want
No,
to do
we-
both.
right.
So if you need to give a little here and a little there,
Right. But if you,
a little helps.
That's
Every
right.
little bit helps.
you know, memberships is $10 a month. That's a lunch. you
Right.
know.
Yeah.
That's a Starbucks coffee.
One Starbucks.
That's one Starbucks coffee.
Right, one Starbucks.
Exactly. And that's a month, not weekly, not daily.
Yeah.
That's $10 a month. And if you can do more, do more. Absolutely. I love it.
But we had a walk before we ran, right? So
Of course.
we were crawling, walking,
Right.
and we're feeling good. And that's when we met with Ryan Ivy and Wally about a month ago and said, okay, let's expand this
Mhm.
to include all sports programs at Stephen F. Austin University.
so
So that's where we are with the Sawmill. That website, it's up, sawmillcollective.com, but we're still working out some of the bugs.
Of course.
But I think within the next, hopefully early next week, it will be right. I mean, you could go there now and you could donate to your sport, but it's a little kludgy. So give us another week and we'll have it where it's really.
Yeah, no.
But the Sawmill 6th Man, you can go to now and everything's, you know, if your passion is men's basketball and that's where you want your
Right.
funds to go, that website's been active now for a year.
For a while. Yeah.
And will continue to be active.
Correct.
You know, if you just want to go to Sawmill 6th, you can.
You can do that.
Or you can go to the Sawmill Collective to hit basketball.
And right, now we'll take you over
Yeah.
to 6th Man. And, you know, maybe eventually, like we said earlier, every sport will have their own little mini site.
Yeah, the little
Yeah.
page on your
Right, because right now, if I go and I hit, say, women's basketball, the PayPal box comes up to donate,
Right.
but it doesn't take you to a separate little website, because they don't have one yet. But I envision all these sports eventually will. I would hope
That's
that.
doable. Yeah,
But
you just
we
gotta get
can't. Gary and I can't.
No, no.
there. Right.
They can
We
do
got
it.
the young. We've
That's
already
your
got.
volunteer.
Yeah.
We've already got a
You
list
got
on
it,
our minds of
yeah.
people we can reach out to for each sport. So we'll,
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah.
we'll put some thought into
We
that.
are excited for this event
Yeah.
coming up on the 29th.
Yeah,
Of course, Meet the
please.
Jacks, but this for the Sawmill 6th Collective.
It's
Yeah,
and the
this
Meet the
is-
Jacks is Lady Jacks, Lumberjacks.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's more of a structured venue. You know, this is an opportunity to interact with these kids.
Yeah.
At a
Really
level
get to
that
know
you
them.
want, right?
Yeah, talk to them, have in-depth discussions with them, ask them about their lives, where they come from, you know, learn more about them. And that just gives you more of a connection to come to back to the games and get season tickets and go watch them play. And you feel like you know them, and it's you know, like your friends and your family when you do stuff like that. And that's kind of like what the Lumberjack, you know, team is, and that's what all of our fans are. We're one big family. So
You know, and $50 for a buffet at
buffet
Barkeep.
style
And then- and then
food. I mean,
open
open
bar.
bar, that's
Hopefully, this won't bankrupt that. I worry about that. Gary leaves on a two drink max.
Yeah.
You know,
Is that why they just give me 2 tickets everywhere?
yeah.
yeah, that's fine.
But you know, the $50 is whatever proceeds from that will go obviously right into the collective, and then
Yeah,
you know, through the silent, you know, all the auction items are donations. So
Right.
whatever money we raise through the silent auction, and then the raffle tickets, hopefully we'll sell a bunch of.
mhm.
I mean, we'll charge a bucket ticket, but because all those prizes have been donated by local businesses. So it would be a fun night, you know.
Yeah,
It
I'm
would be fun.
excited. I'm excited to get my ticket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I hope the $50 doesn't scare people away, because it will be well worth it.
I mean, just an open bar alone. to
Right.
be
The
fair.
bar
I mean,
is
come
a
on.
buffet.
That's what I'm saying.
You know,
Even if you're just there for some good food and drink, I mean, but of course, being
and,
there
and
with the team.
Barkeeps is a supporter. They're trying to keep
Yeah.
the costs down, and
Yeah,
they waive the facility fee. They're shutting the restaurant down that on
Right.
Sunday
yeah,
night.
right. Which is
And
huge.
Nicole's doing it. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's a
You're
big
gonna have Siva cooking, right?
Huh?
You're gonna have Siva doing the food.
Steven's doing it. Yeah,
And if y'all haven't eaten at Barkeeps, you need to go. Siva's like the best chef around. The food's delicious.
delicious.
100%. Yeah, absolutely.
It will be well worth
Yeah.
the $50. I can
So-
tell you that.
Other than the website, you guys also have a few other pages, right? You have a Facebook page,
Facebook.
you have Instagram, I think,
Instagram,
and
yep.
Twitter, I think.
Twitter.
Yeah. So
No,
No.
now it's
X.
X, but it's
So
kind
Nick,
of
Nick
gonna be
and
Twitter.
Dylan are
It's
supposed
gonna
to be managing those.
Yeah. They're doing good. They're doing.
They are.
You're gonna get into so much trouble for
Yeah.
calling out and nicking.
Yeah.
What did Erica say? She's saying something else.
She said, and I have my check for Gary Lee for Sawmill 6th. He's been on me to deliver that.
hey, I'll come over to your house, okay? Today.
He's been on me to deliver. Oh wait, Nick commented something now too.
Talk about the. I'm sorry. I picked
Short court.
We are auctioning
Oh.
off.
Yeah.
Woo.
Sorry.
So there's a replica court of the Sawmill, the William Johnson Coliseum Court.
Yeah.
That when you see it, I mean, it's amazing.
Mhm.
And Keller's going to sign it for and so I,
I
think
saw
we're
that
gonna
on
have one or
social
two
media.
of those. Yeah,
It's pretty.
yeah.
It's
So
nice. Yeah.
and there, I think there's going to be a ball signed by the team, a bunch of different things like that, and then other non related, non-basketball related items, something for
So also, if you're listening to this and you want to support Sawmill 6th Man and you think you have an item or an experience or a package that you
Thank
can
you.
donate to the auction,
yes,
reach out and let them know. Actually, we might have one in mind that we'll discuss after we get off here. But
Oh,
if you think of
I don't
anything,
know what that
you
is.
can, you can donate some
It's definitely not my car. You don't want my car.
some sort of merchandise or experience
It's your
package. Then that
It
can be your
goes great.
donation to the
Yeah.
Sawmill 6th Man.
I think Gary Lee's going to put up a trip to Cayman with the team.
Sure, no problem.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, you can cover our.
Yeah, we would want to repay what we
That's the fee for
No
Gary.
You
Gary
can
Lee.
reimburse our.
Yeah.
Jeez. He could upgrade our accommodation.
I'm gonna need to run that to Charlotte.
All purchaser ran through his wife. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Man, I'm trying to think if there's anything else we've missed. I think we've covered everything.
I don't think so. Okay, so guys, I know we've spit out a lot of information.
Yeah.
So look in the details of this episode when it's shared on YouTube, when it's shared on any of the platforms,
Mhm.
and all of our social media platforms. We'll do a post. We'll share the link for you to go look at the Sawmill 6th Man site. So you could do a one-time donation. You could sign up for a monthly donation, anywhere from $10 to $100 a month.
Yep.
You can go on their website and buy your $50 tickets each for the Sawmill 6th Man event next weekend on Sunday night at Barkeeps.
Yep.
Be dinner, drinks, mingling with the coaches and players, learning about Sawmill 6th Man. They'll have a
Incredible
silent
items.
auction,
Yeah.
of items that you could bid on. If you have some items you want to donate to that auction, let us know. And more information coming soon about the we'll have the 6th Man for SFA men's basketball, but under the Sawmill Collective, we'll be adding them for all the sports. So if you were a big supporter of any of the other sports and you want to be involved in that, reach out and let us know. If you know someone who wants to, reach out and let us know, because that will be an ongoing effort. So we'll need help from whoever wants to devote their time and energy to that. And I promise you that these guys can tell you the effort will pay in dividends of for their personal experience and for the players and the community. It's great all around for everyone involved.
And we've all enjoyed SFA athletics and the entertainment value it brings here, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we all enjoy cheering for a winner, right? And
Of course.
for these coaches to be able to continue to recruit at that level that we've grown accustomed to. Look at all the championships, the volleyball team,
Oh yeah.
the women's basketball, men's basketball, football, bowling team. In order to be able for our coaches to be able to continue to recruit a sustainable NIL
Mm-hmm.
community supported effort is needed,
Yeah.
Mhm.
absolutely needed. And If not, we're just not going to be. These coaches will tell you because they get asked all the time when they're out recruiting. Well, do you have an NIL? Do you have an NIL?
Right.
They can't. The coaches can't promise. They can't.
Well, yeah.
They're not allowed it, right?
Right.
I mean, but they can say yes. We've got a group, man. They're great.
Here they are, you
We've
can
got
get
all
in
these
contact with them.
businesses, yeah,
They can
yeah.
tell you what type of opportunities
Yeah.
they have to provide.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Nick wanted us to mention some of the other auction things. So these are
Okay.
the exclusive items up for grabs. NBA tickets and meet and greet with former Lumberjack Kevon Harris. And
We
this
got to play for
includes
Orlando
Orlando
Magic.
Magic.
So when they
yeah.
play the Rockets,
Yeah, so this includes 2 lower level tickets to the Orlando Magic and Dallas Mavericks game on January 29th.
ooh,
Also includes 2 lower level tickets to the Orlando Magic versus the Rockets on
they'll be separate.
April 9th.
Yeah,
Yeah. And then a post-game meet and greet passes with Kevon and an autographed jersey from Kevon. So that's one big thing. SFA basketball short court autographed by Coach Keller, which Matt already mentioned. 2 floor tickets to SFA home game of choosing and dinner with Coach Keller and his staff.
Nothing more fun except me. But
That
Hey, there you go. Dinner with Gary Lee.
add that to the list.
Hit the holiday.
And then an away game SFA basketball experience and more. So those are some of the things.
Oh, there's so much more.
And then there are more items to be raffled. Team issued SFA gear, autographed basketball by Coach Keller, and more. That's just there, and it keeps coming. All the things keep coming.
But you got to be at the event.
You got to be at the game.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have to actually be there.
And for the look, we'll accept if people want to come and pay at the door, either cash and check, because we're not going to have the ability to process credit
Cards. Yeah.
So but we prefer.
Please go to the website and sign
And
up
register
for
and
your
pay.
Ahead
event
of time, so that it
We
can.
want to have enough food,
Because-
and we want to make
yes,
sure there's
If
enough.
you're
drink.
getting unlimited food and drinks, and we need to make sure
We
we
have
have
to have
enough
a count.
to accommodate for you. So
Absolutely.
we need to know.
That's
And
what we
even
do.
if you're planning on paying at the door, that's fine. Just send an email to us, and we'll give you info@sawmill.com. Just say, hey, I'm planning on coming, and I'm going to pay at the door, so we know we can add those into the
To
accounts.
number.
Absolutely.
info@sawmill.com. No, Sawmill6man.com. Right.
We'll post that
Yeah.
address too.
Yeah. We'll give you
We'll make sure.
We'll post all the info.
We'll make sure that's on there for sure. Yeah.
And the link to the Eventbrite. Yeah. So.
And then, of course, any future events that they plan, any other, fun little meet and greet things or anything else that's open to members or the general public, those will all be posted, I'm assuming, on social media as well. So,
Well, and they'll get their email.
and they'll
Once they
get their
join
email.
and
Yeah.
they have their email, they'll get the newsletter.
And that's
you know.
the pro, obviously, of joining is you'll know about these things ahead of time.
Right.
And that way you can plan for it and be there to help if need be, or whatever you might need.
And the way the legislation has changed, where now the university can actually support the collective.
Okay.
So I know Ryan and I've had conversations as we get going here. The university will host events for the Sawmill Collective. They won't do it by sport. They'll
Right.
but they'll do
And
they'll-
As a-
and have it
Right,
on
yeah.
campus
Mhm.
and special events for the
Mhm.
donors and members of the Sawmill Collective. So
Okay, we'll see
whether,
even that. That's great.
right, yeah.
Right. That'll be the best way to make some contacts and gauge interest in someone stepping up to format those for all the other sports.
Absolutely.
Under the
Absolutely.
collective.
That's
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah. So that's all coming.
Yeah.
But again, we're trying, we're
Yeah,
trying to
you're
get off the ground.
You're
here.
just starting and you're just getting off the
But it's
ground.
exciting,
It is.
And, I don't know, we've got, I want to say around 20 members, net people, most are paying $10 a month, but there's a couple $25, $50, $100 a month ones. We've got a couple big donations, a one-time nice size donation. So
Love that.
it takes all kinds of,
Right. Yeah.
to get to even raise the 60,000 we've raised. It's come from all kinds of things, and I know we were at an event yesterday, or was that Friday? And where Ryan Ivy had said, in addition to what the Sawmill's done, there's about another $100,000 of transactions that have gone through influencer from the local business.
Oh, good.
Wow.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
So, and that's all. That wasn't just basketball. That
Yeah,
was,
that's everybody.
yeah. But, so that's exciting.
Yes.
Yeah.
But-
It's all
But this will
related.
give anyone opportunity to be part of it too. That you don't have to.
Right,
That's-
yes, and so
Yeah.
don't think that you have to be some big,
Business.
money
Little
bag or
business
big
or-
business
yeah.
or any of that. You could simply give $10 a month, you could give $10 for time, whatever
Right.
you can give, and it's
Whatever you want to give. Yeah.
the smallest amount is so worth it to these guys. I mean, just think back to when you were a broke college student.
Oh, I would.
How happy
I'd be
would
so
you
happy
to
with an
have,
extra couple
you
$100
know,
in my pocket every
Yeah.
month.
or
As
free
a
meals
college-
somewhere,
Yeah.
or
Woo, boy.
anything. It's so helpful. So,
Absolutely, absolutely.
and get to, like we said, especially at this event, get to know the guys and talk to them, and you'll really see and feel for them and see how special
Yeah.
they are and how important it is to them.
Absolutely.
And if no one's talking to you, find Gary Lee because he'll talk to anybody forever.
I really will. Just holler at me. It's 936-556-6408. 936-556-6408.
Charlotte is gonna have your mic for that.
You two are really cool for having
Yeah.
that night together.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Absolutely. No.
This is a neat program, and I really.
Thank you, lady.
Thank you.
No,
Yeah.
we've been wanting to have you on for a while,
Yeah.
and so we're excited to understand more about it. And now
That
we
doesn't get you out of paying for their Cayman trip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're gonna be there regardless.
Yeah.
If you pay for it.
So it's already
Paid for.
Yeah.
Oh man, well guys, thank you so much.
Thank
We've
you.
hit about an hour, which
Thank
is
you.
where we usually try to stay,
Yep.
if not less. So we appreciate you so much for coming on and,
Appreciate you
and,
ladies for
and
having us.
telling us all about Sawmill 6th Man and the Sawmill Collective in general. So you'll be seeing a bunch of posts from us about the event coming up on the 29th and how to become a member and all those fun things. So make sure y'all are sticking to not only our socials, but also the Sawmill 6th Man and the Sawmill Collective social media pages, because they'll have all the deets.
Very good.
Perfect. Okay, guys, thank you so much.
Thank
Any
you.
other questions you guys have, make
Excellent.
sure you send those to that email that Matt rattled off.
we'll put it in the description
Yeah.
as well.
Oh yeah, we'll get that in.
Yep.
We'll get that in there. All right. And as always, axe some jacks.
Action
Good
Jack.
Jack.
Action Jack.